All right, Tarot Maniacs. So we did the live from my folks yesterday. It is hot, hot, hot here in New Jersey. It is a real feel of 102 right now. I think the temperature was 97 at the moment, but the real feel is 102, 44% humidity, like swimming to your car. So we're going to follow up video that I did on Harry yesterday that discussed that he possibly had a medical emergency and was in some kind of hospital. You guys can go back and check out that video if you would like. We're going to be using the Housewives Tarot. Seems appropriate, but we'll be right back. And guys, I just got a pop up that there's a hurricane that's forming in the Atlantic Ocean down by Florida. So it just keeps getting better. So
why are we harping on the weather?
What's that?
Why are we harping on the
weather? I'm always harping on the weather. I don't think these are harp. I don't think it's a harpy thing. So but it is a hot thing. It's very hot. Greg, are you hot? Goddamn right you are. So there was a lot of discussion in the chat while I was doing the live. There was a lot of discussion in the chat after the live. And so I do want to address some of this. There were varying things. Some people thought it was a leak. Some people thought it was a purposeful false narrative to generate some sympathy from the royal family. There were some people that asked if that's why Catherine, Princess of Wales, was not at Royal Ascot, if she was upset about Harry not being well, feeling poorly, and some other little tidbits. So we are going to go through these. So let's dive right in, kids. I'm going to pull up that card view. I'm a little slow and sleepy because it is so super hot right now. So super hot. I want to tie my hair up and just be done with it. Oh, and my blocking is a little bit weird. So I just put my camera back up. So sorry about that, kids. All right. So was this a leak or a controlled narrative on the part of Harry and Meghan? There's a lot of chatter that this was a planted story to elicit sympathy, redirect headlines, and perhaps create a narrative where Harry is vulnerable and needing connection. So I do want to point out that he just recently announced via his press agent that they were going to extend an invitation to the royal family, the king and the royal family, for Invictus Games. So was this something to generate some sympathy? What is the origins around the story being made public? Look at that. King of Pentacles, it is establishing a storyline, but the King of Pentacles also tells the truth. What is crossing it? The Four of Pentacles in reverse. So there was something that was out of their control. So guys, I mean, this looks like something happened. Four of Wands under the surface. That is the home card. Five of Cups. Too many of those cups. Three of Wands and the Tower in reverse, guys. Three of Wands in reverse means that people are not working for our best interest. The situation was not in everyone's best interest. The Tower card is something we do to ourselves. I say that all the time to you guys. Was there a purposeful release? Did someone purposely release this information? It was uncontainable. It was uncontainable. This situation was not going to be easily kept under wraps. So was it the staff that was helping out? Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles is very interesting because I did say that whomever was helping him out had some obligation to tell the royal family what was going on here. Before I pulled that, did the royal family leak this information? Did they in turn leak this information? The moon letting the secrets out. So let's see. Charles, William, Princess Anne, and we'll throw Uncle Andrew in there. Charles, no. William, it's the way to get healing. Princess Anne, she's not happy about it. This is a big mess to clean up. And then Five of Wands, Prince Andrew. He might have told somebody. He might have told somebody. I think these three royals, King Charles, William, and Princess Anne, I think they are working together. We have two cups that are in reverse, Three of Swords in reverse. Remember, the Three of Swords is a healing energy. That is getting things back on track, getting the bad things out of the way. So, does William see this as an opportunity to get Harry to straighten up? William does not think that Harry is going to learn from this lesson until we get him extracted. He thinks the opportunity to see in a better direction is not going to be there until there's less people putting rose-colored glasses on him. So, did Harry and Meghan's camp play any role in leaking this to content creators? Six of Swords. No, they did not want to leak this to content creators. I think they're going to do something else to correct that, because we have that Eight of Cups. So they're trying to correct it. What will their PR do to attempt to correct this? So I do think that we will see him doing like sober living things. I know that sounds stupid, but like taking the kids bowling. I think we'll have some paparazzi shots of something like that, taking the kids bowling or going out on a canoe on like a little nice lake or something. No, boating got them in trouble before. So maybe going for a bike ride or something. I think we had a bike ride picture too. But I do think like sober living kind of stuff, like with the kids, is going to be promoted. Does it turn the story around? Not very much. Not very much.
The biking I was doing wasn't very sober.
What's that?
The biking I was doing wasn't very sober.
Gregopedia was on a pub crawl on a bike, and he barked his shins a few times. So this is a expressly viewer question. Princess of Wales was notably absent from Royal Ascot. Was this absence connected in any way to Harry's alleged incident? Two of Wands. No, I think it's separate worlds, but let's see. Was Catherine informed about the situation with Harry? She was aware of the leak and the substance behind it, let's put it that way, and that there were other team members that were going to get to work on it. She was aware of that. Did the news have any emotional impact on her? King of Cups. She was upset. And again, you know, she is very motherly, and so she very much wants to reach out and make things correct for him. So we already talked about her absence. I think she just needed a little break. So let's talk about the source of this information. So presumably it all started with this one AI channel. And forgive me, I could not find the source video on this. I just saw Paula M has it at the beginning of hers. But let's take a look at that. Video, the first video that was posted. So I'm not calling anyone out here. I just want to feel out what the energy was. You know, one of the things is when that was dropped, I had no intention of reading on Harry yesterday. But when it was dropped in the comments by several viewers, I did have to kind of attend to it. And I didn't do any, I didn't look at any articles. I don't do that frequently with my readings. I don't, you know, spoil the view, so to speak. I don't want to know too much information about some things. So what's that?
Don't want to front load it.
I don't want to front load it. Yeah, it's what we call it in remote viewing. We call it front loading. So there are some videos, some readings that I do want a little bit of front loading, but for this particular one, to stop the live and go do my front loading would have been really annoying. So I relied on some of my viewers and my mods. Wife of a Grumpy Marine is great for dropping links. So she did drop the link, and when I saw it was Paula M, I said, oh, you know, I'm going to take this with a grain of salt. But I do know that there is this alternate, this AI video. So what was the energy behind the video that Paula M referenced? What was the energy behind that? King of Pentacles in reverse, King of Swords. We have Justice, and the kid in the Justice card looks like Harry. I've always said that, you know, looks like a little Harry, little Ginger. So the King of Pentacles has foundations that are shaken, foundations that have been trashed. And the King of Swords, again, this is a truth teller. We did get the King of Pentacles in the upright, in the other reading, which would be truth and hard fact. But here, this is the disruption of his life. So the energy behind the video posted is there is a disruption in his life, and it's being told by a truth teller. This is the justice that he gets for revealing information about others, for doing that kind of stuff. Down here, Ace of Pentacles. This is a new look on Harry. This is a very critical view of him in this video that purports that he had some kind of substance abuse issue. You know, he has referenced it in his book Spare, so this shouldn't be a shock to anyone. You know, people that are using substances do have mishaps. Sometimes maybe they'll be drinking and they forgot that they did this and they forgot they took that. And so sometimes things can happen. And I do think that he was in a very, very deep, call it a slumber. And if he was awakened, was it actually the spray up the nose that we talked about, or was it just smelling salts? Did they just have to really, you know, kind of shake him out of that deep, deep sleep? I did say in the video yesterday, I felt there was like like a snore if you have sleep apnea. But that can be misconstrued as that. What is that rattle called when people are ODing, Greg? Agonal breathing. Agonal breathing. So thank you. I forgot that word yesterday. I forgot that phrase. So I think that AI video, we have the Hierophant here. And if you guys have been following me for any length of time, the Hierophant is a seat of power. So a seat of power was behind this initial release of the information. The Tower card, Queen of Cups, cruel to be kind. Three of Pentacles, we're going to break up the band. So the Tower card is something that happens, cataclysmic change. But the Queen of Cups used that situation to manipulate it. And the Hierophant is part of that. So do we have this story squashed in the mainstream media, but leaked to some non-official media? I think so. And I think it is to rattle those foundations, because the foundation is rattled here. But perhaps let's break up this band, the Three of Pentacles. Let's get those people separated from each other so that we can get to work and do what we have to do. So, interesting. Is Harry in continued danger from substances this summer? I know plenty of people that have struggled with sobriety, struggled with substances, drink, all those things. And seasonal changes, especially the summertime, can be quite catastrophic. I know with one of my, with someone formerly in my life, the party time would start at Halloween and it would go until New Year's Day. And it was daily drinking, blackouts, and all that stuff because it was the holiday season. Was part of the reason why my sister and I coined the phrase alcoholiday, which is a 3 or more day weekend that involves at least one national holiday and involves lots of drinking. So 4th of July was often an alcoholiday. So I want to explore this very gently. Holiday time, summertime can be joyful and dangerous for people that are struggling. So I do want to look at this with an honest eye, and I want to look at this with the scope of finding some pathway that is better. So the Yellow Brick Road, if you guys have followed me for some time, you know about the Yellow Brick Road readings. So is Harry currently struggling with substance and avoiding emotional contact? 10 of Swords. That is a rock bottom, guys. Justice. I think it's balancing out. 5 of Wands. There's some confusion. The Emperor looking to regain his power, but afraid of judgment up top. The Hangman. Now this, when we looked at William before, we saw that the Hangman was in reverse. William is under the impression that Harry is not ready to turn a corner and do something different. But this is looking from Harry's scope, and it does look like he is ready to make amends. That 10 of Swords absolutely is rock bottom. He's ready to take a look at it, but he does not. The last thing he wants is anybody to say, I told you so. And I think we all know that William is going to say, I told you so. The 8 of Cups, under the surface, he is ready to move on, but he knows that it is going to be a difficult and rocky road ahead. Rocky road. He does want to have some autonomy over his life again, the Emperor. So he really does want to do that. Is this incident, and I do think that there was some kind of incident. I don't think he was hospitalized. I do think that he was, had he been left alone, maybe something bad would have happened. I do think he drifted into a different realm. And we talked about that in the video yesterday. But is this a wake-up call? Is it a turning point for him? Is he going to follow that course? 3 of Cups. Damn it. I don't So 6 of Wands, no. 7 of Wands. I think the moment is lost, guys. That 3 of Cups is, everything's okay. I feel fine. And that happens a lot with people that overdose on opiates. They get Narcan and they go out and they get high an hour later sometimes. Right, Greg?
It's called Narcan, not Narcan.
Narcan, not Narcan. So, and one of the things here in New Jersey, Narcan is available. You can go and get that. So if you are,
Bon Jovi.
huh?
Bon Jovi.
Oh, well, I don't want to say that. I don't want to get sued. So if you have someone in your family, or if you yourself have an addiction to an opiate, you can go and get free Narcan. And that will revive someone. Sometimes it takes more than one pump, but it will do it. And it's a spray up the nose. It's not the needle in the chest like.
Well, that was adrenaline.
That was adrenaline. Yeah, this is a little bit different. So, but sometimes people will be revived again and again and again over a course of days, sometimes hours. So, 3 of Cups, I do think that today is a good day. Sunny day, and he's probably outside having a great time swimming in the pool. 6 of Wands, not successful, staying away from that. The 3 of Cups also is a celebratory cup or a card. It is something that we do see drinking involved with that. It's a very bacchanalian card. And the 7 of Wands, we go into disorder once again. So I do think he is in danger of falling for the trope. Well, I feel fine now. It was just 1 minute. I was just sleeping. It's actually sugarcoating it as we speak. Is there support around him that is reliable and effective? Ace of Swords, 7 of Pentacles. Unfortunately, I don't think he really feels like he can return home for support. I think he is one of those types that says, well, I'm smart enough to get through this and I go to therapy 5 days a week. So why shouldn't I do this? I got it all under control. I got it, which is famous last words for any recovering addict or any addict. I got it all under control. No, you don't. You need a little bit of help. 7 of Pentacles, he is looking backward with a different scope. And like I said, well, I was just asleep. If everybody had left me alone, I would have been fine. It's kind of what he's coming to the equation with, which is very sad and unfortunate. Queen of Pentacles, I think he is allowing someone else to manage and monitor his world. And I don't mean his behavior and his sobriety, but I think he's just, kind of shrugging it off and going and playing again. And that's unfortunate. I almost think that somebody said, well, today's a good day. And, you had a rough day yesterday. So here's a gummy. I do think there was a little bit of that. So what does Harry need? What does Harry need? What is his yellow brick road? What is his yellow brick road? Page of Pentacles. That is the first step. I know I have no power over this substance, drink. I put my power into the hands of God. He needs the care of a mother. That is what he needs. unfortunately, that is not available. We all know that. Six of Cups, he needs to go back in time. Ace of Swords, Death card for change, Strength card up top, Three of Pentacles. There's that Three of Pentacles in reverse again. And he needs to come out of the shadows and be the emperor in his life. He needs to make the decisions and stop outsourcing to the people in his world, because that is what I think is happening here. I think he is outsourcing his autonomy to either Doria, Megan, people that work for them. I think he is used to having concierge service, and I think he is looking for people to give him concierge service with his own person. So if that means hand me a gin and tonic, hand me a gummy, hand me that pen, hand me a gift card, a credit card, Venmo me some money out of the main account. I do think that taking a hard look. I don't think he knows much about what's going on with their finances.
Start my orange.
It's a
Very start my orange.
I don't know if it's a start my orange. It's almost like because they're employees. It's, he's just like, well, that's your job, And I do think that Megan made herself. She auditioned for this role of wife very hard. So, there, he's got to come out from the shadows. He's got to stop letting everybody do stuff for him. So, I do hope that I was sensitive enough in this. I don't want to suggest that anyone's putting out bad content or bad information or anything like that. I am a psychic. My information comes from up here. So even though someone said I wasn't a psychic in the comments, they just said I was a tarot reader. Oh, I'm a little sad about that. But these are incredibly sensitive topics. Divorce, breaking up a family, substance abuse, all of that is a terrible, terrible circumstance. And I very much would like for anyone to live their best life and have their happy life. I'm not making any medical claims here. Addiction and mental health are part of everyone's human experience. We all have individuals in our periphery, in our orbit, that experience these kinds of problems. I'm very surprised if anyone here said, I never had anyone in my family who did this. Lots of people have it. My goal in this reading was to explore what was underneath the headlines and the titles and the YouTube videos that are coming out. I'm not judging anybody here. I'm not judging Harry. I'm not judging any of my fellow content creators. I know how hard it is to create content. So, and I trust that all of the individuals that I referenced are not just making something up. I think we don't have a lot of hard fact about this. My cards today and yesterday say that, yes, there is something going on there that is troubling, but it is something that can be worked on. And it is something that it seems the royal family would like to possibly help with. So we'll have to see what happens in coming weeks. I do think that Harry is going to enjoy the summer. I think he's going to continue to enjoy the summer. So take that for what you will. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the future.